Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. You can probably hear by my voice that I'm kind of battling with this kind of little bug that I got, I guess you could say. But so we're going to try to get through this. Markets were down today. Bitcoin and Ethereum were both down today. We're also going to take a look at Mawson Infrastructure Group. They announced a 5 million registered direct offering. We also have Argo blockchain, April production update, along with Hive and Terawulf. So we got some good growth there, and I went all the way down to the bottom. I should be up here. So we're going to look at all that stuff, but as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, and I'm investing in foreign coins and companies for full disclosure, as always. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. All right, let's take a look at the markets here really quick. So the S&P was down 0.72% today to 4,061. Dow Jones was down 0.86% to 33,127. NASDAQ was down 0.37% to 12,982. Bitcoin was down just a little bit here today. It wasn't down too bad. It was down only 0.63% to a close of 28,857, which just closed a couple minutes ago here, about 15 minutes ago. And we are battling right now with, well, not battling. We were kind of staying above the 20-day moving average, which is the yellow line that we have right now. We bounced off of the 50-day moving average, which is the teal line here. That's a good sign. And then we've kind of created this triangle here, this wedge, and possibly within the next week, possibly at the end of next week, we're either going to go nicely to the upside or nicely to the downside. We'll have to see how that's going to play out. Right now, I'm thinking, depending on how the RSI looks on the charts, we may be possibly going up, but we'll see, okay? Right now, the RSI on the daily is at 52. Last time we were close to here, price was actually lower at that point, so we're still looking pretty good there. On the 4-hour chart, you can see here that the RSI is at 52 as well. Last time we were close to that was right around here. Price was actually a little bit lower than that, so that's good. So we have a little bit more of an upside to the price on the 4-hour chart. 1-hour chart, RSI is at 48 right now. Last time we could possibly, I don't know where, let's see where could we go on that. Let's do this. Let's turn these off. There we go. That might give us a little bit better idea as far as where we might be at. I mean, it seems like it's up higher here, the RSI. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like the price is up a little bit higher from where we were. Don't have an exact pinpoint here, but if we look at the bottoms, maybe you can see where we bottomed here and then bottomed out here. And that one looks like the price was a little higher. This one was a little bit lower. So really no direction as far as which way we're going to go on the 1-hour chart. We'll see how that's going to continue on. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well. So Ethereum was down today as well. It was down 1.46% to a close of 1,878. And it is also following suit with Bitcoin here. RSI on that one is at 48. Last time we were up here, price was actually higher at that point. So we'll see how that one plays out going forward. On the 4-hour chart, we can see that the RSI is at 50. Last time we were at 50 was actually lower in price, so we're actually higher in price, so that's good there. And on the 1-hour, we can see we're at 43. Last time we were actually higher in price as well. So really no direction as far as which way we want to go on either Bitcoin or Ethereum right now. Okay. Let's take a look at the miners here really quick, see how they did today. Annie was down 0.88% to 41 cents. And the miners were kind of mixed today. It was about half and half. Half were down, half were up. Argo was up today 1.44% to $1.41. Bit Digital was up 8.7% to $2.25. Bitfarms was down 2.7% to $1.08. Cypher was down 0.83% to $2.38. CleanSpark was actually up today 5.28% to $3.99. Cores was up 0.27% to 37 cents. DigiHost was down 0.6% to $1.65. DMG was up 3.37% to 21 cents. Greenage was down 4.42% to 44 cents. Hive was up 0.33% to $3.03. HUT was flat in the day at $1.75. Iris Energy was down 1.92% to $3.57. Marathon was up nicely today, 7.54% to $10.27. Mawson was down 8.05% to $2.97. Ride was up just slightly, 0.93% to $10.84. Soluna was up 3.52% to 20 cents. Stronghold was up 2.44% to 87 cents, almost 88. And Terawulf was up 0.56% to $1.78. So overall, a mixed day in the miners for the most part. On that one, let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick, and we'll get into our stories, and hopefully we can get through this before my voice goes out. Let's refresh this really quick. So we're looking at the 7-day average here, and we can see that the network hash rate is at 346 million right now, terahashes. And the 1-day average, we can see that it is still at the same spot. It hasn't really changed here in the day or so that we've covered it last. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get a little bit of an update as far as where it's heading right now after hitting the new all-time high just a couple of days ago. Okay, so let's get into our stories that we do have here. The first one is on Mawson Infrastructure Group. Excuse me. They announced 5 million registered direct offering. And today they announced the 5 million direct offering. Mawson has entered into a definitive agreement with institutional investors for the issuance and sale of 2,083,336 shares of its common stock at a purchase price of about $2.40. And they are going to use that money to, here it is, Mawson intends to use the net proceeds from this offering to continue to build out its digital infrastructure for potential strategic transactions and also for general corporate purposes, including working capital. Well, that's going to be a fun video if my voice keeps tickling me every so often here. So hopefully we can get through this. All right. So that's Mawson right there. They're going to use it for, obviously, strategic transactions, general purpose corporate purposes, including working capital. I guess it's okay. They're not diluting that much. I mean, they are right now. Mawson is at, how much is Mawson right now? Mawson is at $2.87. So they can dilute a little bit here. Wouldn't be too much on the amount that they're diluting either. Okay, so that's that one. The next story is going to be on Argo. So Argo blockchain announces April operational update. They're still at 2.5 exahash. They've been there for quite a while. But here's what we do have. So during the month of April, Argo mined 144 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents. This is a decrease of 8% compared to the 5.2 in March. The decrease in BTC production is primarily driven by an 8% sequential increase in the average network hash rate, network difficulty during the month of April. We're seeing this from everybody here talking about this. The difficulty is going up, network hash rate is going up. Well, we're making less money. Well, us. As of April 30th, the company held 83 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents. That's also down. So they are starting to use more of their HODL position to kind of fund operations here, which is kind of concerning. We'll take a look at that in a minute, my numbers here. And then the company's total hash rate capacity continues to be 2.5 exahash. And then in Q3, so we're still a ways away from this, the company expects to begin installation of the 2,870 block miner machines from Epic Blockchain Technologies at its Quebec facilities. These are the ASIC miners made by Intel, the chips. This represents an incremental 0.3 or 300 petahash of hash rate capacity and will increase the company's total hash rate capacity to 2.8 exahash. Okay, so that's kind of where we're standing at right now. There's nothing else really going on with them except for that. So they're basically on cruise control now until Q3 sometime when they do get these miners into that facility, which would be a good help. That's not a lot of growth there for them, but they've had a heck of a time in the past 6 to 12 months. Almost went into bankruptcy. They had to sell off facilities. So they're trying to get back on the right track here. This might be part of this equation, but we'll see how they can grow forward. They're obviously having miners like Terawulf, Cypher, others as well, CleanSpark, that are, just outperforming them right now. They're doing a lot better job than they are. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers we do have for them here, and that's Argo. Let's go back over here. Argo, there we go. So Argo has about 62 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.41. Market cap 87 million right now. They are currently at 2.5 exahash. I have them at future hash rate 2.5. So if they do get those additional miners, we'll update that as well. You can see that their Bitcoin production has been coming down here ever since August. They peaked at 235 BTC, and ever since then it's been coming down. Had a big decrease in December, but I think a lot of the miners did a lot of curtailing in December. Then they picked back up a little bit here in January, but you can see here ever since January it's been decreasing steadily now to 144 in April. Their BTC HODL value is only 2.64% of their total market cap value. Future hash rate, we already talked about this. BTC, let's see, they mined 144, they sold 146, so they actually sold 2 more than they mined. And then BTC HODL is 83, we talked about that. You can see their monthly Bitcoin production differences here from month to month. Pretty big decrease here in December, negative 51 less. And then they had a nice increase in January, but then they've been decreasing here ever since then. BTC per exahash efficiency, you can see that one has been consistently going down, which is expected based on a couple of things. Well, the main thing is Bitcoin network hash rate increasing. That's generating the same kind of results for everybody, but it also, they've been curtailing quite a bit as far as putting electricity back into the grid. That has kept them at the lower end as far as efficiency is concerned on that. And then their BTC HODL, you can see here as well, they were in May at 2.4 thousand roughly of Bitcoin HODL, and then they've been selling ever since then. And you can see that it's just getting less and less each month that we go out further. So there's having to fund operations more and more by the BTC HODL that they do have, which it is dwindling down here, which is also kind of concerning for them. Okay. And then here's you can see how much they sold as far as monthly is concerned. Hash rate revenue, let's take a look at that really quick here. So hash rate has been pretty much stuck at 2.5x a hash ever since August. Not much growth here for them, which is not good, right? We want the miners to continue to grow. They've been stuck there almost now for a full year. We're only a couple months away from August, and they've been stuck at that 2.5 there for a while. So you're seeing that result where the BTC production is coming down because network hash rate is increasing. They're flat on their increase in hash rate, and that's the result we get. Okay, Bitcoin mining revenue is, you can see here, has peaked in April of last year of 6.2 million. Currently in April, they made about 4.1 million, it looks like. They have been increasing nicely, but that's only the benefit of Bitcoin price going up in value. Right, so that's really helping them out. But as far as you can see here, how much they've sold each month, you can see that they've been selling about 4 million a month to, I guess, fund operations, pay electricity, things like that as well. I got to take a sip of water here. But you can see that they've been selling steadily around 4 million something and change, roughly. Monthly hash rate, we talked about that. That hasn't changed. We can also see that their last 4 quarters revenue, and this one includes Q1 and Q2 and Q3 and Q4 combined because they're providing the results every half a year because they're listed in London, and they don't have to provide quarterly. They have to provide biannually results, which is unfortunate. But right now we're kind of looking at the current quarter by 11.2 million. And if we combine it with we'll take a look at the numbers here down below. But you can also see their last 4 quarter operating costs have been increasing as well, which isn't good as well, especially since they've stayed pretty flat here as far as hash rate is concerned. So I'm surprised that is actually going up. Okay, other metrics here, we can take a look at them. Cost to mine 1 BTC has gone up as well. Bitcoin mines quarterly has gone up, but that's based on their half-year values here. That's why it's gone up. Otherwise, it would have been coming down. You can see it from the first half of the year. It has come down to the second half of the year, and it's going to come down even more in this current half of the year as well. Debt to equity is also increased quite a bit here. Lower is better, obviously, and then current ratio higher is better. That's also come down here as well. So that's a little concerning for us. Now, as far as institutions are concerned, here we can see that institutions did decrease to 24 from 27, and shares also decreased from 48.8 million to 48.15 million. So that's now 10.08% of analysts or institutions own the stock. We still have the same buy ratings, so we have a hold rating and a 1 underrated rating or underperform rating. And the price target is still at $6.60 for the high, $5.80 for the average, $5 for the low right now. Okay. The only good thing with them is the total current liabilities has been coming down over the halves and quarters, so that's kind of good to see there as well. But their total current assets have also been coming down, which is kind of not good there. Okay, based on all of this, we're using the last 3 quarters that we have information on. That includes basically the last half of the year of 2022. The current quarter that we were just in, Q1 and Q2, is being reported for the current quarter here. Based on that, we have 49.5 million in revenue, and that's going to possibly go up a little bit here. Bitcoin continues to go up in value. Using 50% net income from gross revenue, P of 5, because they are not growing that much. I have them at $1.99, so I'm surprised that somebody has them at $6.60. Don't know who was thinking that they would be that high. But obviously, Bitcoin goes up to 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. Then yes, they could possibly get to $6.60 at that point. Okay, on the high end, we could be at $2.99. That's kind of where I see them as being kind of fairly valued. So currently, they are undervalued in my opinion. They should be closer between those two numbers a little bit more. Okay. Now, as far as what did I want to talk? Talked about the numbers results here a little bit, and then let's see here. There's nothing much to talk about here. Oh, efficiency-wise. So you can see here that in February they were mining for on average about 20.48 days. In March, 22 days. In April, 21.5 days roughly here, it looks like, to get what they actually mined in Bitcoin based on the average Bitcoin price for the month. So they are curtailing a lot for that, and I'm hoping that they at least get some credit for that curtailment that they do on the electricity side of things. Okay, so that is it. Let's take a look at it. I mean, they don't have a lot of... No, let's take a look really quick here. Let's take a look at their assets, what their total trade receivables, digital assets. I mean, that's way down here from where it was. Cash in. So they do have about 16 million pounds of, or 22,600,000 in USD, or it should be in USD, right? Total current is. Well, whatever that translation is from pounds to US dollars. But they do have some that they could utilize potentially to grow even more, but we'll see if that actually happens, okay? but they definitely need to grow. Let me know what you guys think of them in the comments down below. I love hearing you guys, what your thoughts are over there as well. All right, so that's it for Argo. Let's get into the next one here, which is going to be Hive. Then let me have a sip of water. Okay, so I apologize for the dead space there. And let's get into Hive here really quick before my voice completely goes out. So Hive blockchain provides April 2023 production update with 9% increase in month-over-month hash rate. So that's good there. They're actually growing. The good thing is I got to actually give them props for getting the information out relatively early this time around. Last time we were waiting till like the second or third week in the month. It was just not like them to providing these updates that late. So maybe they heard our gripes and our, kind of dismay with them over taking so long to provide these updates, and kind of giving them grief about posting all these Bitcoin pictures on Twitter instead of posting the updates. So kudos to them for actually getting this out early. This is really great. It's good to see. Okay, that's kind of what we want to see. We want to see if you're a big boy in the mining space, you should be able to provide these numbers within the first 5 to 7 days of the new month. All right, so here's what we got. Current Bitcoin HODL balance of approximately 2,284. Summary overview, Hive produced 273 Bitcoin in the month of April from ASIC and GPU mining operations, so they still have a little bit. They're running on the ASIC, on the GPU side, mining. I don't know if they're mining directly Bitcoin, but I'm guessing they're probably mining some other altcoins and getting paid in Bitcoin possibly. Okay. Good news is Hive has manufactured, tested, received, and installed the 5,750 Buzz miners at its data centers, all of which are operating today, so that's good news there. Let's see here. April 2023 production figures. So additionally, our monthly HPC income has increased 24% month over month from March to April. So that's good news there. So we'll hope, we won't see the results. Actually, yeah, January, February, March. No, we won't see those results in the Q1 financials. We'll see these results in the Q2 financials. So we'll have to wait on that. But it looks like they are actually growing that side of the business, which is good to see as well, because kind of like Cut 8 as well. Okay, and then let's see what else we have here down here. Okay. So actual production was 273 Bitcoins, 3.3 exahash of BTC hash rate as of April. This was comprised of 3.14 exahash of ASIC BTC hash rate and 0.16 exahash of GPU BTC equivalent hash rate. Okay, so that's kind of how they're figuring out. So I'm actually using the 3.14 exahash for my numbers here, and they provide averages. I don't like averages. I want to see the actual end of month results, how much they actually have plugged in. Okay, they talk about the network hash rate, and then Sweden data centers help stabilize electricity grid during the major blackout. So that was actually good. And I can't remember if it's Sweden or Norway that's going to be having a tax on the miners or something like that. If there's one way to get around it. If they were heat producers or something like that, they wouldn't have to pay the extra tax on electricity or something like that. So I can't remember if it's Sweden or Norway. Remind me in the comments down below. Okay, but nothing. They didn't comment on that at all here. So it's kind of like, nothing happened. Which would be nice to see what their thoughts are on it as far as what they're going to do going forward if it does go through. But we'll see, okay? So on April 26th, the capital of Sweden, Stockholm, was hit by a serious power outage. The consequences were great for several industries, and subway and commuter train traffic came to a standstill. Hive's data centers in northern Sweden assisted with more than 20 megawatts of on-demand response, able to power down and thus help to quickly stabilize electricity grid and help mitigate repercussions for the utility provider. So this is great. This is why a lot of the Bitcoin miners that are in like Texas and other parts of the country, here in the US, Canada, across the seas in Europe and things like that, they really do have, I think, a load balancing kind of guidance to go by, that they can actually do this relatively quickly, and they can be shut down really quickly. They can also spin up relatively quickly as well. So I think this is a great way to balance the grid of electricity, especially when there's a lot of electricity that's kind of left over that's not being used. This is a great way for that to be used, the electricity providers to get paid for it. And it's just a great, I'm trying to think of the word here. I can't think of it right now, but it's like a great ecosystem as far as how the electricity system works, is what I'm trying to say basically, okay? So let's get into the numbers that I do have for them, and we'll see how those things all stack up. And I got to take another sip of water here. So Hive blockchain shares outstanding is about 84 million right now. Stock price is at $3.03. Market cap 255 million. Okay. Current hash rate is about 3 exahash roughly. Future hash rate about 3.4 is what we have them at right now. Their BTC production here has been kind of a roller coaster ride ever since late August. In September, Ethereum went to proof of stake, so that was no longer possible. And you could see that dip in their production here ever since then, all the way through December. And then December, they finally started getting their production up and increasing a little bit here, which was good to see. So they ended up 273. That is still a decrease from March of 282. But we also had one less day, but that still wouldn't make up. Well, that might make up partially that on that one. Okay. BTC HODL value is about 20% of the market cap right now. Hash rate left 387. They had 273 mined Bitcoins this month, or in April. Bitcoin sold was 299, so they actually sold more than they generated. And their HODL position is 2,284. And you can see that their HODL position has been coming up here through November. December, they sold quite a bit here, and I think this was to pay for the Intel ASIC miners that they got in. So they took quite a bit of HODL position from that to pay that off. And then it's been going kind of up and down here a little bit, and it's actually been going down since January, it looks like, on this one, okay? BTC per exahash efficiency, they've been pretty on par with being one of the most efficient miners out there as far as running the most uptime. It also helps that they are mining with the GPU miners. Those also provide added BTC for it, so that can help them out along the way as well. But you can see that that has been coming down ever since October, and they're about 86.93. I think that's going to be kind of in line where we're seeing some of the other top performers as well. We'll see which one comes at the top when we do the monthly review of the miners and see who came in number first, second, and third place for efficiency and things like that. Okay, Bitcoin sold, you can see that they sold obviously a lot in December here. Hash rate and revenue, hash rate, okay. So they were approximately 3.7 exahash in August, and then when Ethereum went to proof of stake in September, that dropped down because all of those miners were no longer mining, basically, so they were generating less. But that did go up a little bit, came back down in December, and then they started to go back up here. They are at 3.1 right now as of April, so that's good there. Okay, mining revenues also, they were last year at 17.25 million. All right, they're only at 7. They're less than half of that of where they were last year. Some of the other miners that have been growing nicely are actually doing better than they did in April, or at least close to it, within 10-15% from where they were in April of last year. But they have been growing here nicely here, but that is also based on Bitcoin price going up in value. Okay, then you can see here the hash rate growth month over month, and has been pretty good here at the beginning of the year, and hopefully this continues on going forward. BTC sold value, you can see how much they've been selling here recently. So they sold quite a bit here going through the last, well, since we started tracking them in June, it looks like. They've sold quite a bit here. We'll take a look at what that is. Last 4 quarters revenue, we're seeing that has been coming down through Q3. Current quarter, looks like they're going to be up on that, so that's a good sign there. Operating costs have been coming down as well, so that's a good sign there. Other metrics, cost to mine 1 Bitcoin is kind of up and down a little bit here, up in Q3 to 13.6, but that's also kind of where we're seeing some of the other miners as well. And then BTC mined quarterly, obviously Q3 had a pretty big hit on it because of Ethereum not being mineable anymore. And then let's see here, debt to equity lowers better. That's still pretty good here at 0.34, so that's not a big deal there. And then current ratio higher is better. They're at 2.86 right now, so they can at least pay their current liabilities with the current assets 2.8 times over, which is fine, so they're not in any danger right there. Okay, institution-wise, we can see here that institutions did decrease a little bit here to 97. Shares also went down a little bit here to 13.58 million from 13.66. And percentage owned is now 16.13 compared to 16.24. We still have a strong buy rating on them, 2 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, and 0 sells. Price target still the same, $7 for the high, $4.98 for the average, and $2.94 for the low. I have them at for the current last 3 quarters, which are 2 of them are the actual numbers. The Q1 numbers for 2023 are an estimate, and then we're using the current quarter numbers, which are I'm sure going to change depending where Bitcoin goes, how much they actually mine, and things like that. Right now, that's just an estimate. Based on that, I have them at a P of 10, $4.93. They are at 303. They are undervalued, in my opinion, and they could possibly get to $7.40. Now, as always, if Bitcoin goes up higher in value, these guys can get a much higher PE as well. That's because when Bitcoin goes up, it lifts all boats along with it. Okay. Now, as far as how much they've been selling here, so it looks like they've sold approximately, if I do the math on it, in the last, well, from June to April of this year, they sold about $93 million in Bitcoin value based on my numbers here right now. Okay, so I just want to point that out. As always with these miners, the only thing that they really got to do is they got to grow. It would be nice also to find out if it was, I can't remember, like I said, Norway or Sweden, whatever one jurisdiction was going to be raising rates on the miners. They could provide some information on that. What are their plans if it does happen? Are they going to be okay because they're going to be a heat producer because they do have a greenhouse next door to them? How is it all going to work out? So it would be nice to find out on that one. But other than that, it's good that they're getting miners installed. They need to continue to grow. They need to continue to do that going forward. Unfortunately, realistically, they have to do that like all the other miners do as well, especially as we're getting closer into the halving event. Okay? So that's it for that one. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. We'll talk about it there some more. All right. So that's it for Hive. Let's take a look at the next one. The next one is going to be Terawulf. So Terawulf announces April 2023 production and operations update. And increased hash rate capacity by over 21% month over month to 4 exahash as of April 30th, 2023. So this is good. They're like one of the ones that have been growing really nicely along with the Cypher, right? So it seems like the ones that have been growing, the newer miners that are growing really well, Cypher, Terawulf as well, are getting a lot of, you could say, love from investors, right? They're loving these companies that are growing really fast compared to some of the other miners that have been out, for 2 years, 3 years. Some have been out for 5 years now, almost 6 years, like Hut, Hive, Right, and all those. Riot's still getting love because they're growing so much. So investors are definitely looking for growth, I think. Okay, so here are the April 2023 highlights. Self-mined 239 Bitcoin in April with an average production rate of about 8 Bitcoins per day. Power cost averaged at 6.6 per Bitcoin produced, so that's really good there. Or approximately 3 cents per kilowatt hour in April. That's really good. Some miners are around 4.5, 5, 5.5. So being at 3 cents is really good. Okay, and then here we have the metrics, hosting revenue. So they do have some hosting there. Power cost, average operating hash rate. I don't like average operating hash rate. I want to know the end of the month hash rate they had installed. And running revenue. Yeah, so they're using the average Bitcoin price here, power cost per Bitcoin. It's good there. Let's see if we have anything else here. I don't think there's anything. Oh, there is. Production operation update. So Terawulf is in the final stages of construction on building 2, which will increase Lake Mariner's operational capacity to over 110 megawatts in the coming weeks. Combined, the company expects to have a total operational capacity of 50,000 miners, 5.5 exahash in Q2 2023, representing approximately 160 megawatts of power on demand. So that's good there. They're continuing to grow. Getting to 5.5 is definitely going to be good for them as well. So let's take a look at Terawulf here really quick, and we'll call it a day. Okay, so Terawulf has 186 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.78. Market cap is at 331 million right now. So they are valued more than Hut 8 is currently, and possibly even more than Argo. I can't remember what Argo was. Argo was at, let's see, what was Argo at? Argo was at 87, yeah. So they're definitely getting better valued at the current market here. You can also see that their last 1 week, 4 week, 8 week, and 12 week numbers here. Current hash rate is 4 exahash. Future hash rate, I have them at 5.3. They're saying 5.5, so my numbers might be off a little bit here. So they have about 1.5 exahash left of growth in them. And you can see their BTC production has been really good here. The first, from like April through September, was an estimate on my part of what they report, because they really went public, I think, in right around October, something like that, when they started providing production updates. And this is what we've had from them ever since. And we've had pretty good increases. We've had some dips here along the way, but overall it's been in the upward trajectory, which is good, which is what we want to see. Now, they do not hodl anything. They pretty much, whatever they mine, they sell to fund operations and growth. Hash rate we just talked about, BTC, we talked about that, them selling it. And you can see their increases here in Bitcoin production. HODL is 0. Bitcoin efficiency is also down towards the bottom end, but as you grow a lot, you also sacrifice efficiency, because those miners are now running for the full month of operations. They're only mining for, on average, 15 to 20 days, depending on when they get in, sometimes even less. Okay, and you can see here how much Bitcoins they have been selling here. They've been selling everything that they do mine. Hash rate, you can see hash rate has also been increasing nicely ever since they started reporting it. Back in October, had a nice jump here. In February, they were up about 1.1 exahash. March was about 730 petahash. April, 670. So nice continued growth there as well. You can see the revenue also has been increasing quite nicely as over time as well. So that's good there. Investors like seeing that as well. Hash rate difference you can see down here. Bitcoin sold value you can see down here. Last 4 quarters revenue has been increasing every quarter, which is great to see. And then their last 4 quarters operating costs, self-mining, has been basically pretty flat, right around 6.8, 6.4, right in between there, so it's not too bad. It's actually pretty good. We'll see what the Q1 results come in at with them mining for themselves for the full quarter there with a lot of machines in. Okay. Other metrics here, we don't have a lot of data. Cost of mine, we only have basically the Q3 and Q4 numbers, which has come down, which is good to see. And then Bitcoin mine quarterly has increased as well, which is also good to see. Debt to equity, lower is better. So this is getting on the higher end here, and then this one's coming down here. So they do have a problem with assets, current assets, and their current liabilities. So that's one of the issues that a lot of the investors are still kind of worried about, is you have Q4 14.14 million in assets, while your current liabilities are 126 million, right? So there's a big disconnect between those two numbers, and they definitely need to pay that down as much as they can. And thankfully, they've been generating more and more revenue here as Bitcoin has been gone up in price, but they're also mining more. That should help them out as well. Okay. Institution-wise, institutions have increased also to 95 from 90, so that's good. Their shares increased to 14.39 million from 12.33 million, so that's also good. So now they account for 7.73% owned by institutions. We still only have one buy rating on them and a target of $2 for the high. Average is $2 and the low is $2. So they're kind of on the low end here. I think they should be more around $2.30. They're $1.78 right now, and I'm guessing on the higher end they could be around $3.46 currently. But as they continue to grow, Bitcoin goes up in value, they can obviously fetch much higher price for that. Okay. As far as the miners that got installed this or past month, in April, we can see that we installed the 140 terahash miners. Looks like those are all installed now. We still have some of these 100 terahash miners that need to get installed here potentially, and that would be it for right now that I have them. I'll have to look at my numbers here, see if I missed anything. But for the most part, they're pretty close to being fully installed. Yeah, because that's 1.36. Maybe that's more miners than I'm actually counting here. But yeah, otherwise they're pretty much installed, and they're mining only for 23 days here, so they do curtail quite a bit as well. And we'll see where May comes in at, but we saw March at 25 days. March was a longer month. It was 31 days, I believe, in March. And then February, they actually were mining for the full month, for the most part, except for the ones that got installed here. Only 4 days. So you can see that they do curtail quite a bit, and that's why the Bitcoin per exahash efficiency is down towards the lower end, where they should be closer to like the 80 mark on them. If we look at it, where was it? Right here. All right. Okay. So that's it for all of these guys. Let me know what you guys think of all of them. Obviously, a lot of numbers as always. Look forward to you guys' comments down below. As always, the spreadsheet is available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Also, thank you to all the YouTube members as well. You guys will get I think I already sent these out, so you guys already have these dashboard images out already, so you guys have access to those. And that's it. We'll see what tomorrow brings like. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll see what's going to go on with Bitcoin, with the miners as well. We still have obviously quite a few miners I need to report. But other than that, yeah, I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.